Well, I just came back from voting. There weren't many people around. It's midday. Most of the voting takes place in the evening or in the morning before people get to work. So far as I could tell, it seemed 50-50 in my neighbourhood. I did talk to a few people. I told them one guy was under no illusions that the thing had been rigged, will be rigged. Another guy realised that the Joe Cox stuff was overkill. He knew that yesterday was dedicated to Joe Cox Memorial Day. Joe Cox is going to go down in a saint in human history. Her name is going to live forever, like Boadicea or Joan of Arc. June the 22nd will always be Joe Cox Day, and Joe Cox will be the patron saint of bullshit. And for the types of moron, one woman gave me, I said, I hope you're voting Leave, and she gave me like a no way kind of thing, she said, certainly not. She felt all very pious. These people really don't understand it. They don't understand it. They don't realise that they've been tricked. But, she's probably like a young lady. She probably thinks that she's doing the right thing. But she doesn't realise that her opinions are not her own. They own her opinions, a silly fool. But what can I do? It takes years for people to work out what's going on. Some people have an instinct. Once you understand the technique, it's incredibly easy to see through it. I've got a pair of those sunglasses like the guy in They Live have. I can immediately and instantly see when people are trying to deceive us, at least on this industrial scale. I'm not suggesting that I might not, maybe on a personal level I might meet someone who's a bit dodgy and I might fall for them. It's possible. I mean, of course I'm a human being. If you get, sexually excited, you might, throw caution to the wind. Who knows? Okay, now I want to come to a nice channel, Russ Brown. And he's been getting threats. So I'm going to do Russ Brown. Pete, I've had the following worrying threat. And my name isn't Pete, but it doesn't matter. You can call me Pete if you like. Pete, I've had the following worrying threat. I would ignore it, but I checked the guy out and it does look like he probably works for GCHQ. Ryan Morgan, 58. Look, you got me. I work for GCHQ, okay? I'm just trying to get by. Let me tell you, the senior figures are onto you, and you need to take measures to protect the things you hold dear. You are in danger. Well, it needs to be said that Russ Brown is exercising his legal and moral right to call truth to power. The British government like to tell us over and over again just how free we are and how lucky we are not to live in countries that don't enjoy freedom of speech. And yet this guy, Ryan Morgan, who's obviously not called Ryan Morgan, I mean, some people put their name up, Ryan Morgan 58 could mean somebody called Ryan Morgan, born in 1958. But of course, the type of people who do this type of shit are way too devious to be honest. Yes, it's funny how YouTube are always trying to tell us to use our real name. I bet you that Ryan Morgan 58 is not a Mr. Ryan Morgan. He probably doesn't work at GCHQ. It's more likely he works for Strategic Communications Laboratories. There are a number of sites. Me and Russ seem to be one of the two ones who are trying hardest to upload truth. But, I mean, considering what's at stake here, and considering the fact that there are millions and millions of people who hate the EU, and yet for some odd reason, where are they? I mean, surely on this occasion, they might decide to look carefully into allegations that the thing is going to be rigged. Are people so dumb that even those who hate... I'm not going to... It's very difficult to reach out to people who are pro-EU. The people who are pro-EU are of another level of stupidity. Right? These are the complacent idiots. Their stupidity is not necessarily based upon low income. Their stupidity is a whole new level of politically correct bullshit. Okay? These people get all their opinions from Country Gardener and the Tattler and Lady and stuff. And they obviously feel that voting to stay in the EU is what Joe Cox would have wanted. This absurd actress who no one had ever heard of until she died. She's only famous for being dead, basically. Just like Lee Rigby. Lee Rigby. Drummer Lee Rigby, Docklands Light Railway. And Russ says, I'm worried about my family, not me. I may have to take the vids down or tell everyone I've had a serious threat. All right, Russ, here's my advice to you. Tell your friends and neighbours the truth, that you are an anti-EU activist whose work on exposing EU scandals has got you into trouble with pro-EU forces. Hopefully your neighbours are decent people and will come to your defence. Tell people about it, because if something happens to you, Russ, then maybe there'll be some kind of scandal, right? I have told my neighbours about my problem, okay? I haven't explained to them in detail what it is, but I did tell them the truth, that I am an anti-EU activist and that I have been threatened by agents working for the Remain campaign. This is actually true, and it is a fact. And there's evidence on my site that proves it. Okay? Now, if the EU campaign is so desperate that not only do they have to launch faked events to deceive the public, but they also have to try and physically eliminate channels that don't agree with their agenda, then I think we can honestly say that we are in the right. Because information that scrutinizes government actions, you see, freedom isn't just the right to agree with whatever the government of the day are doing. If I had a channel that simply repeated everything I heard from the Daily Mail, I wouldn't get trolled, would I? Of course not. In fact, very few people, even who disagreed with, they wouldn't even bother visiting. So the question is, why are the pro-EU forces so insistent in trying to shut up people up? Now, I've already had notification that they're going to take my channel down. Some people have said to me that it's just hot air and that these people can't do it. Well, they certainly can, because I had a channel in China that I lost. Okay? My channel was taken down. It wasn't taken down by the Chinese. It was taken down by a company working in London called Strategic Communications Laboratories. You can do your own research on this company. This company is involved in psychological warfare and is assisting the EU globalists in seizing control of the UK. They have a very, very dirty track record. But they also have an agreement with YouTube to work together as a team, because YouTube, as a multinational tax-dodging Zionist global corporation, strongly supports the EU, right? And let's not forget that Joe Cox, YouTube GB, UK, gave Joe Cox a glowing tribute and suggested that we donate money to her. You know what, YouTube, it might be better if you donated money yourself, because you've got plenty of it, and bearing in mind you don't pay taxes, I think it's maybe you have got more money. Why do YouTube ask poor people or people on average incomes to give money to a crisis cast, right? Now, I haven't heard from Russ today. I have no way of contacting him. I don't know whether that's his real picture. I don't know whether that's his real name. I've always advised people not to use their real name and not to use... You see, I was threatened by some bozo in Sunderland from Tubbs Direct. He sent me a threat. He said he'd beat me. He said he'd knock me to Kingdom Come. And then when we did some research on Tubbs Direct using Trustpilot, we discovered that the guy's a fraudster, and many of his customers don't even get the products they pay for. And this is the type of person who supports Remain, a fraudster who probably employs lots of refugees and illegal and immigrants on low wages. No wonder he likes the EU. Another thing is he's Scottish. Many of